The opinions expressed on the X and Y Show are the sole opinions of the host. Please note, there is no intentional desire to offend any member of the listening audience. With that said, if you still feel offended, tough shit.
It's time for the X and Y Show with your host, Mr. Roosevelt. He talks about man topics, lady topics, and relationships. He talks about love, sex, and infidelities. He even gives good tips. There is no other show that compares to the X and Y Show.
Oh yeah. Sit back, take your clothes off, and relax. It's time for the X and Y Show, where real relationship issues are talked about and addressed. The only place on the planet that tackles the topics that everyone wants to talk about, but no one is brave enough to address. Nothing escapes X and Y, baby. Now, here's your host, Roosevelt Colbert.
And greetings, and greetings. Welcome to another segment of the X and Y Show, and I'm your host, Roosevelt. And I must say that I'm a little late this week. Usually I do my shows Friday, but I think I'm going to change producing my shows on Sunday. Because when I was in school, as those of you know, I just finished my second master's. I was in school. Fridays were better because I would then take the whole weekend to study and write papers and stuff like that. But now that I'm out of school, I'm out and about on Fridays, trying to get pussy and all that kind of stuff. So Fridays is very difficult because, a lot of times I got to leave a good situation. Like I'm talking to the pretty woman, I got to leave because I got to do a show and, it's messing up my pussy. And, So I think that I'm going to start doing the show on Sundays. That's better for me. It's the beginning of the week and it's just more convenient. So I think that's what I'm going to do starting next show. It's going to move to bi-weekly every Sunday instead of Fridays. I think that's better for me, better for you. Well, even if it's not better for you, it's better for me. So that's going to be a change. So look out for that. And enough on that. All right. So glad to be back for another segment of the XY Show. We're fastly approaching my 100th episode. 100 episodes for the X and Y Show. That's very, very impressive, if I do say so myself. I'm proud of that. A lot of people don't get that far. And the X and Y Show is growing, and thanks to you. And I ask you to continue listening and pass it on to your friends, pass it on to your lovers, and everybody that you care about that want to hear the sound of my voice. And I really appreciate it because I could not do it without you, the listening audience. So thank you. And I don't know. I'm going to do something special for my 100th episode. Maybe I'll sing for you. I don't know. That is a treat if I sing for you. You guys know I can sing. I ain't got to say that. But I don't know. I figure out something. So anyway, fastly approaching on the holiday season. We're already in the month of August. Can you believe that? We're already in the month of August. September, October, November, December. For those of you who don't know, my birthday is in November. And also, Gynecologist Day is in November as well. So that's a day that I definitely started. And I want you to give praise to your gynecologists. They're very important people. I love gynecologists, so I'm going to show them some love every year. Gynecologist Day. So if you're a woman, give your gynecologist a gift. If you're a man and give your gynecologist that took care of your wife for your kids, give them a gift. Or just send them a note. Say thank you for what you did. And gynecologists are wonderful people. I don't think they get enough, I don't think they get enough hurrah, for what they do. They're very important people. I love gynecologists. And I don't know, I wish I could have been one. And I know a lot of you saying you just want to see pussy. That's not true, even though that would have been a good benefit. But that's not true. There's a gynecologist, that's like the first doctor that you have when you're a kid. You're in the womb. So you're dealing with the gynecologist. That's the first medical person you're dealing with. So, I love gynecologists. I think they're the most important medical doctors in the world. And I just want to make a day for them. So I've been doing a gynecologist day for the past 2 years now. So show some love to your gynecologists, whoever they may be. All right, so let's get to some letters this week. Okay, got 3 letters, 3 emails. Fred, this is from Fred. What is the oldest women you've dated? Oldest woman I've dated, I guess she was probably, I don't know. I guess she was probably about 58. And at the time, I was about 28. So, so 58. And let me tell you something, that was some good pussy, too. Yeah, that was some good pussy. Anyway, 58. All right. Next one is from Carol. What is your favorite position? Well, normally I would say right off is the buck. And for those of you who don't know what the buck is when you have both legs pinned back behind her head and you just get all everything. That uses my favorite position. But I've learned over the years that positions it depends on a woman. With some women, the bug is fine, but some women, that's just not going to happen. And some women is better doggy style. Some women is better with them on top. Some women is better hitting from the side. It depends solely on the woman, really. And I've enjoyed other positions other than a buck with different women. So you can't just use one position for all. Certain positions fit certain women. So if I had to say right off my head, it would be the buck, but not necessarily. So I would have to answer that question. It depends on the woman you're with, not necessarily what, you like. But if I had to pick one, it'd be the buck. But, certain women, the buck wouldn't work. So I have to answer that question. It depends on what woman you're with. So hopefully I answer your question, Carol. Last one is from Rita. You should do a show on the roles of men and women in a marriage and how families are better off with the women being in charge. I will do a show. Now, actually, I've been thinking about doing a show on roles and in marriages and relationships and so forth. So I think I will do that. And I definitely disagree with that notion that families are better off with the women in charge. That's the most potent bullshit I've heard all day. I really think that's part of the problem, that women are put in a position that they're running families instead of the man. The man is supposed to be in the forefront. The man is supposed to run the family. And I think that a lot of times men are not there, which is a problem. That's some of the stuff I'm going to talk about today. And the presence is not there as well. So even if they get a divorce, it's like they neglect all things of their family. They forget their kids and everything, and the kids just running amok. So the man is supposed to be the leader of the family, and the women are having to take on that role. And, I give kudos to the women who have done that, because a lot of women have no choice. If they didn't do it, nobody would. And I think that is the problem of society, that we have all these families without men to lead. And that's part of the problem that's going on in society today. So I will definitely have a show on that, Rita. So look out for it. Definitely. All right. So let's jump into today's episode. A divorce from your wife or husband does not mean to divorce your kids. Let me repeat that. A divorce from your wife or husband does not mean to divorce your kids. Now, that's if you was married, divorced. But if you were in a relationship and you broke up with your girlfriend, but you still had kids with her, that's not, a breakup is not, from your girlfriend or your boyfriend is not, mean that you should break up with your kids. So it's whatever stage you're in. I just use that because, that's, if you're in a marriage, a lot of people think if you get divorced, well, fuck all y'all. Because that's in essence what you say. When you stop dealing with the wife, the ex-wife or the ex-husband, stop dealing with the kids, you say fuck your wife, your ex-husband, and fuck you too, kids. That's what you're saying. Fuck you, fuck all y'all. I'm not dealing with none of you motherfuckers. And I just can't understand how someone could be that way on their own flesh and blood. Now, I'm going to get something straight. I'm talking about both men and women leaving, getting a divorce, and just neglecting their kids. It happens both ways. Women do it sometimes as well. But let's be honest. Most of the time it's men. Okay, most of the time it's men who get a divorce, and they divorce the woman, and they divorce the kids as well. They look at it as a divorce. Well, I'm starting over. I'm starting a new life. So you are my wife, but you're not my wife anymore. Okay, that's fine. But they say it to the kids as well. They don't say it, but they say it in their actions. You are part of my old marriage, so you're not a part of my life anymore, so fuck you too, And a lot of you, that's what you do. It's like, some of you are so angry with the ex-wife till you try to get back at her by not dealing with your kids, which is even more fucked up. And me personally, I have no respect for someone like that. I think you're a weak, pathetic motherfucker. I have no respect for a man who divorced his kids. I have, and this hits home. I have a second cousin that, my first, second. Okay. Yeah, I have she is my second cousin, and her son is my third cousin. But the second cousin is the daughter of my first cousin, and she got a divorce from her ex. And the son, my third cousin, is about, I guess he's about 10 or 11. And he might be 12, I don't know, shit. But, he's coming to the age where he's starting to really, really, really understand shit. And his mother, who's my second cousin, got a divorce from her husband. So ever since then, he don't have any relationship with the mother, and that's sometimes that's the way it is. The relationships in divorced couples can't be cordial, but he don't have any relationship with his son as well. And I think that is the weakest form of a man. And his son need him because his son is coming up into the teenager stage, when you really need a father. You know, you really need a man figure to be there to get you through some shit. You know, to teach you how to be a man. And I think that's what is absent in society so much. That's why a lot of young men grow up to be men, and they're a bunch of soft motherfuckers. They don't know how to be a man. They were never taught because they don't have a father. They didn't have the male figure around them to influence them on the proper way of being a man. In essence, what I'm saying is they need you. Even though you've been divorced from your wife, your kids still need you. And not only your son, your daughter for damn sure need you. You know, your daughter, your kids need their father. You shouldn't divorce your kids. What excuse could you say? Well, okay, I'm not dealing with my wife anymore. Okay, what's the excuse for why you not dealing with your kids? What could you say that could justify that? You know, I have my nephew. My nephew has my sister was married to this motherfucker, and they got a divorce, and he hasn't seen his father in damn near 20 years. Well, no, I'm lying because I'm saying he's 19. Okay, it's been about probably 11, 12 years. Because he got divorced when he was about 10, yeah. It's been a long fucking time, is what I'm saying. 11, 12 years, and there's no reason for that. You know, he got a divorce from my sister, but he don't deal with his son. You know, and not only my nephew, he was in my sister's ex-husband was in a prior marriage. He had a daughter, which he doesn't deal with her as well. So, in essence, he's just a pathetic, sorry motherfucker. You know, you divorce your wife, but you divorce your kids. There's no excuse for that. It's a sorry excuse of a man. And it's the reason, and we, in essence, we're paying for it. Now, my nephew turned out pretty good. He's a real smart guy. And, you know, he has a good head on his shoulder. And a lot of that because, you know, he had male influences, I would think, that helped him. And even though I was there, and my brother was there, and my father was there before he passed, it still wasn't the same. It still wasn't the same. Don't think for a second that those children don't realize that my father is not here. You know, what have I done to keep him away? They start thinking like it's their fault. You know, what have I done to keep him away? Why don't he want to be around me? He's my father. You know, why don't he want to be around me? Do he love me? You know, and a lot of kids don't come back from that shit. A lot of you kids don't come back. A lot of you know kids going through the situation or have gone through the situation, and they're fucked up all in the head because they have all these thoughts and all these questions. Is it my fault? You know, why daddy left? You know, maybe it is my fault. That's why daddy not coming around. You know, the kids all fucked up in the head. And when the kids all fucked up in the head, they grow up to be adults fucked up in the head. And they know that, you know, they never learn how to be a true man, or how to treat a woman, or vice versa, a true woman, or how to treat a man. And thus a cycle begins. You got a lot of fucked up people walking around. I believe that the core beginning of any family is a complete family. Ideally, it is good to have the mother and the father, a two-parent household. I always believe that, and for those of you who've been listening to the show, always known me to say that. And one of the reasons why I say that, because I grew up in a two-parent household, and I appreciate that more and more every day. As a man, I realize how important that was for my father to be there, my mother to be there, and it was a complete family. It was so much better. It is. It really is. Now, I know a lot of you saying, well, sometimes it doesn't work out that way. You're right. Sometimes it don't work out that way. Sometimes divorce and shit happens where the family is broken up. But what I'm saying is, if that happens, then, if the man can't be in the household, which is ideal, that's the first option. But if he can't be there because of a breakup or something of that nature, at least be there for your kids. Me and your mom broke up, but look, any kids, if you ever need anything, I'm here. Spend time with your kids. Take them to ball games. Take them to karate practice. Teach the young man how to shave coming up. Go to the girl gymnastics and class and all that shit. Spend time with your kids. And speaking of that, I seen this segment with Marshawn Lynch yesterday, a couple days ago. I don't know how old that clip was, but I think it was pretty new. But it might have been old, but I think it was pretty new. What was confusing me is it was in Seattle. Not Seattle. Well, yeah, Seattle, yeah. But I guess I'm sure he has still close ties in Seattle because he was there for a while. Anyway, Marshawn Lynch, for those of you who don't know, he's a running back in the NFL. And made me a lot of money over the years in fantasy. But he was having a situation where I guess, he's running a football camp and he had cursed at the kids. And one of the mothers didn't like it, and questioning him, why do you curse so much? And the first thing Marshawn said was, do you have a man here that I can talk to? Do you have a man? Where's your husband? Is there a man I can speak to? He asked like 4 or 5 times, do you have a man here for me to speak to? And the woman said, no, I don't have a man. What does that have to do with anything? But it has a lot to do with things. That's the problem. Men are absent. And the women have to take up the role of being the man and the father. That father should have been there with his son at a football camp, and learning, how to. The father should have been there. And it was Marshawn Lynch was asking, do you have a man that I can speak? Because, he can relate to a man, and hopefully a man could relate to him. Like, this is how it is. And for those of you who've ever played football or any level, even Pop Warner, it's not a bed of roses. I mean, when I played football, it was like they cursing us all the time. But, we took it, we got tough, and we kept moving, and we didn't fuck up anymore. Now, these children are so babied and pampered and shit. Like when he cursed at him, he said, get the fuck out of my drill or something like that. The kids started crying because a lot of these kids are soft. And it's because that a lot of times that the father is not there. They need that fatherly love to teach them how to stop being so soft, But they don't have the fatherly love because all they have is the mother. And the mother, now some mothers are tough, I know that some mothers are tough, but for the most part, women baby children too much, especially boys. And that's why it is important for a father to be there. My cousin wrote a segment on Facebook the other day. It's too many mothers taking sons to barbershops. It's too many mothers taking sons to football practice. There's too many mothers trying to teach sons about their body, and when they start liking girls, and you starting to get an attitude toward girls and wanting some pussy and all that. It's too many mothers taking on a man's role. And a large reason for that, because the men are not present in the home, and they're not present in their children's lives. It's the saddest thing when I see a father, or a sperm donor, really, neglect their children. And there's no reason for that. What reason could you give that's substantial to say that I'm staying away from my children? Because that's what you're saying. I'm staying away from you, son or daughter. I don't like your mother. Fuck her. And I don't like you either. Fuck you too. That's what you're saying. And that's what you're implying to the children. They say, well, damn, he don't like mom. They're not getting along with. He's not spending time with me. He don't come around me ever. He don't do nothing for me. So I guess he say fuck mom and fuck me too. And when the children start to realize that, and they get older, it augments. And it gets worse and worse and worse. That's why you have all these kids that are all fucked up in the head. They're all fucked up in the head. And it doesn't have to be that way. Even though you're divorced with your mother, with your ex-wife, your ex-husband, there's no reason to divorce your children. And a lot of you are doing it for selfish reasons. You're angry with the mother. You're angry. You want to get back at her. You can't get back with her any kind of way. Not really. So, you know what? Then fuck it. I'm not going to see our children then. Fuck you and fuck them too. I'm going to get you. That's what you're saying. I'll teach you a lesson. I'm not gonna do anything with the children either. What kind of shit is that? That don't even sound right. Now, I also want to say something. It's not just the father neglecting the kids. Sometimes when there's a divorce, sometimes the women are on that bullshit too. A lot of times they get divorced and they say, and they still love the man, or they want to get back at the man. They can't beat his ass physically, which a lot of women would like to do. They can't whip his ass, so they're like, I'm going to get you. I don't want you around your kids. I don't want you coming around. Stay away. You're not seeing your son. You're not seeing your daughter. Stay away. So we have a lot of that bullshit as well. Women are to blame in that bullshit. When they get a divorce, they're so angry with the man, the ex-husband, that they say, well, fuck it. I'm going to get back at you. You're not allowed to see your kids. How many of you know a woman that is doing that to their ex right this minute? And some of you, the sound of my voice, are doing that shit. That shit has to stop. Or you haven't paid child support for the month, so you're not seeing your kids. That's bullshit. You don't know what situation the man is going through. Maybe he has to catch up on some bills, or maybe he got sued. I don't know. But you should never stop a man from seeing his kids. Let the state deal with him. They'll garnish his check and all that kind of shit. Let them deal with it. But don't you be the executioner. Don't stop your ex-husband from seeing his kids. If he wants to see his kids, don't stop it. Not even he hasn't paid child support. Don't stop it. A man should be allowed to see his kids. And I know a lot of you women disagree with that. If he don't pay child support, why should he see the kids? But when you hear that out loud, do that really make any fucking sense? It doesn't make any sense to me. It's the dumbest shit I ever heard. You're using that to get back at the man. You're using your kids. You're using your kids as pawns, basically. Oh, well, you haven't paid, so no see kids, you. And all that does, and the kids are, well, damn, dad is not coming around. He doesn't really love me. And it's a continuous cycle. It's a different reason. The women are keeping their kids from the husband instead of the husband wanting to stay away. But it's the same result. Your kids are fucked up in the head. Your kids are going through negative emotions that they don't have to be because you're angry. And both parents are to blame. Women do it because they're, the father not paying child support. He has another girlfriend. Oh, okay, I'm going to teach you a lesson. You can't see your kids anymore. What kind of shit is that? The father leaves, or I got a divorce. Now I got to pay all this damn child support. Well, fuck you, wife, ex-wife, and fuck you, fuck those kids too. That's what you're saying. In essence, that's what you are saying. How could someone who has kids that are of their flesh and blood basically say, kiss my ass? That's what you're saying. How could you say that and be a man? How could you say that and be a real, true, loving mother? How could you say such a thing? How could you feel such a thing? How could you ever do such a thing? And what always end up happening, 30 years down the line when the mother and father is in a hospital bed or a hospice and getting and having to have somebody wipe their ass, then they call for the kids, or I'm sorry for what I did. Please forgive me for what I did the last 50 years. I'm sorry. Well, you can always say you're sorry and forgive, but think about all the time that you wasted. Think about all the time that you could have had a relationship with your children, even though your ex, you got a divorce, but think about all the time that you could have had with your children that was wasted. For what? For bullshit, for anger. You trying to get back at your ex-wife, or you trying to get back at your ex-husband. And nobody suffered in the end but your children. That's the only losers. Your children. And as a society, we have to deal with that. We have to deal with all these crazy motherfuckers walking around who are all fucked up in the head because they didn't have a loving father or a loving mother in the picture. Some kids turn out okay. My nephew's he's pretty good. My third cousin's son, he's still young. He looks good. He's a smart fella. I think he's gifted. So he's good now. But, how much better would he be if his father would be in the picture? How much better would my nephew have been if his father would have been in the picture? I was thinking about all the times that even if my father was not in the picture, what kind of man would I be? How different would I be? Anyway, so I say this to say it again. A divorce from your wife or husband does not mean to divorce your kids. Ladies, if you get a divorce from your husband, okay, and he has another girlfriend, he's fucking somebody else, or somebody's else's, or he's not paying child support on time, don't keep him from his kids. Let him take his son to the barbershop. Let him take his daughter to ballet class. Let him be an influence in his children's lives. Let him come to birthday parties. Don't keep him out because you're angry with him. You want to beat his ass, but you can't, so you're keeping him from his kids. Don't do that shit. It hurts no one but children. That's all. It's hurting them. Fellas, if you get a divorce from your wife, you were angry with her, You're paying all that alimony. You're paying all of that money to her. She got another man now. She has a boyfriend. You're angry with her. Okay, be angry with her, but don't be angry with your kids. Still spend time with your kids. Still love them. Take your son to the barber shop. Take your daughter to ballet class. Go to your children's birthday parties. Be an influence in their lives. Show them that you still love them. Me and your mom didn't work out. Me and your dad didn't work out. But I still love you. And I'm here for you. That means a lot. Your kids need you. Don't divorce them. Don't break up with them. They're your flesh and blood. Anyway, that concludes another episode of the XY Show. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to check out the XY Show on many different formats. I'm not on TuneIn anymore. They changed it. So I'm on Apple Podcasts now. They changed it. So that's cool. But it's still a big platform. So I'm on Apple Podcasts. I'm on Google Play and Google Podcasts. So they started a different one. I'm on Blueberry. I'm on Spotify. I'm on iHeartRadio. I'm on TuneIn. And I'm on CastBox. And I'm on Stitcher as well. So any platform that you use, be sure to check me out, subscribe, and say how much you like the show by liking it. And that'll be greatly appreciated. You can also go on Spreaker, which is my main hub that I broadcast from. You can see that as well on my website, which is www.thexyshow.com. All of that is there, my listening platforms, as well as my social media. I'm on Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. All of that is on my website, www.thexyshow.com. You can also, I've changed the XY store. You can check it out. I've changed it. I took a lot of items away that, I didn't think was good. I improved on some items, so check it out. I know you'll like some of the stuff. Take a picture. I would definitely post it on my Instagram page and show everyone that you're a true X and Y. There's also a contact form on my site. You can say hello. You can give constructive criticisms. You can give suggestions on new shows. You can say whatever you want to say, pretty much. And I would definitely appreciate that you corresponding with me as well. So be sure to visit the site. Be sure to continue to listen to the show. And I want you to always love one another. And I hope that after you listen to this show, you definitely start making some babies. With that being said, I will conclude this to another segment in about 2 weeks or so. But I want you to always remember, you cannot have love without X and Y. Later.
You've been listening to The X and Y Show with your host, Roosevelt Colbert, the place where real relationship issues are talked about and addressed. Join us next time. You can now put your clothes back on. Or not.